Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to join the AIM Summit today and to be speaking with such great thought leaders. Charmaine and Jeremy both set up some great conversations around traceability and tracking, and I hope to continue that conversation. My name is Patty Blessing, and I'm the Director of Sales for North America at Mojix. With over 20 years of experience in the food and auto identification industry, today I work with brands and retailers to help them transform their businesses through increased visibility to their inventory. Now, food safety is a science and it is constantly changing. Some of the most recent challenges in food safety include changes in our food production and supply, with vast amount of product coming in from a global supply chain, changes in the environment leading to food contamination through foodborne pathogens, and new and emerging bacteria and toxins and antibiotic resistance. Last month, the FDA issued 18 recalls around food product alone. 7 of those recalls were directly related to risks associated with the potential for foodborne illness. While most of these recalls did not make the news, one large QSR chain had to recall all romaine lettuce and remove it from their sandwiches due to an outbreak of E. coli. The reality is, contamination can occur at any point along the supply chain, as raw materials, during production, processing, distribution, or preparation. Food safety and prevention starts with the item level traceability at the store. Food safety is just one of the many issues impacting the restaurant industry today. In the past 36 months, the global pandemic presented a challenge that had little to no precedence. But business goes on, and today restaurant brands are experiencing many new influences that shape the way they do business. Economic drivers are impacting profitability and growth plans. Inflation has forced the cost of wholesale food up 11% this year alone. And according to the National Restaurant Association, last year, hourly labor costs were up about 8%. Last year, 86% of the workers in the food service industry quit their jobs. The labor shortage has created such a critical situation that many restaurants have been forced to change their operating hours, and in some cases even close 1 or 2 days a week to reduce the stress on their staff. Ghost kitchens now support delivery-only restaurants. We heard earlier about the supply chain. In the supply chain, food shortages, trucker shortages, and delays in delivery have created challenges that have resulted in menu changes, or those signs that we all see on the front door of our favorite lunch spot announcing what menu items are not available. One retailer recently shared with me that their order lead times from their supplier have gone from 1 to 2 weeks, making forecasting and ordering accuracy even more important. At the same time, consumer preferences are changing. They're shifting from traditional menus to menus that are more plant-based. And there is an increased expectation at both the corporate and consumer level that restaurants will operate sustainably, source responsibly, reduce waste, and eliminate plastics that contribute to landfill. Technology is becoming a mission-critical strategy for restaurants as they face these challenges. Tech-savvy brands have already adopted solutions from robots to online menus and delivery. Now they're turning to technology to manage much more. In a recent study, Topline Strategy interviewed executives throughout the restaurant industry in North America. One section specifically explored the perceptions of those executives about key operational functions. While food safety and management ranked the best with 53% of respondents happy with their current strategy, 47% of the respondents see a need for improvement. The perceptions about inventory management ranked the lowest, with only 33% of the respondents happy with their current strategy, while 67% see an opportunity for improvement. Recall management and food traceability rankings showed less than 45% of respondents happy with their current strategy. Overall, 46% of all respondents indicated that they have investments planned for inventory management, many of them citing the upcoming safety regulations that Charmaine mentioned as a factor. I wanted to spend a few minutes just to talk about the case study for food safety. The restaurant industry is looking toward inventory management tools, and there is a shift to RFID and other data capture technologies to enable real-time item-level visibility in supply chains, allowing accurate tracking of ingredients from source to table. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about what one large restaurant company is doing. They're at the forefront of this transformation. They are leveraging RFID technology so that it can act on food safety and quality concerns swiftly, efficiently, and most importantly, precisely. Let's discover what they have learned about critical tracking events and operational tracking events, as well as the impact of traceability on recall management, expiration management, reduction in shrink, and sustainability. But to actually get there, let's just take a quick look at what the FDA's Food Safety Modernization Act Rule 204 is, or FSMA 204. This rule is expected to be published later this year with a requirement to comply within 2 years. To reduce the risk of broad spread foodborne illnesses, FSMA 204 outlines requirements for traceability record keeping to be provided within 24 hours of an FDA request. The rules will apply to all stakeholders in the supply chain. Products included are outlined in the FDA's food traceability list and represent over 20% of the food supply chain, including fresh produce items, cheeses, eggs, seafood, and many other categories. More specifically, digital records in the form of sortable spreadsheets detailing key data elements will be required. Key data elements are those details about the product throughout its life cycle, such as location identifier, lot information, traceability, product identifier, and traceability product description. Key data elements are specified for each critical tracking event, or CTE. Critical tracking events include growing, creating, transforming, shipping, receiving, and disaggregating. At the same time restaurant operators are securing the required traceability data, they'll also be required to react to these events at the store level, removing product from the shelf and modifying recipes to assure consumer safety. As a leader in safety and quality, serialization was not a burden for this organization. It was a commitment to their customers and their employees. Serialization allows increased visibility to product in the supply chain from source to table, while also allowing automation of processes in their stores, in addition to supporting regulatory requirements. Serialization, or providing a unique identifier at each level, started with tracking products at the case level. Utilizing GS1 standards assures interoperability throughout the ecosystem and ease of adoption for suppliers that have traditionally used barcodes, printed labels, and in most cases, manual record keeping to identify and track product. Product delivered through distribution centers and warehouses do have some level of traceability. However, when product is sourced locally from neighborhood farms or from a diverse and global supply chain, traceability and transparency become more challenging at the store level. Serialization at a more granular level connects the case to digital information and records. The options for serialization included a variety of approaches, such as barcoding, QR codes, and RFID. Barcoding and QR codes required minimal infrastructure, were very easy to deploy, and were lower in cost, while RFID offered more flexibility, greater data storage, and increased accuracy. In evaluating the options, the company selected RFID for a number of reasons. While barcoding has been a widely accepted technology for many of their use cases, they saw the opportunity to ease the burden to the store staff, to reduce the cost of receiving and managing inventory at the store level, all while increasing visibility and traceability. At the onset, the requirements of the project were outlined. Like most traceability projects, the objectives included increasing inventory and ease of use for their store operators. But GS1 compliance and an open architecture were also critical to allow for ease of integration in corporate solutions, including their supplier management and quality management systems. Use cases were carefully defined, and reporting requirements for both store and corporate were outlined to assure that all stakeholder objectives were met. Finally, measurable metrics were established to define success of the project. To maximize the return on the investment and ensure complete inventory traceability, the supplier community was asked to begin incorporating RFID technology into their case labels. These RFID labels contain serialized G10s, allowing the stores to scan each case and view additional vital item level data that is stored in their cloud. Label harmonization of GS1-128 labels across the supply chain also provides increased accuracy in shipping, receiving, and storing of product. In addition to working with GS1 and the global labeling standards, Auburn's RFID lab was also engaged to assure that the RFID tags selected for the program would meet read range, performance, and quality requirements. Some of the benefits of the project were quantifiable through financial calculations, including labor savings and optimizing inventory, while other metrics were based on meeting requirements and subjective outcomes. Here you can see just an example of the detail about a product received in the stores. In this snapshot, cases of chicken were received at the stores with shelf life ranging from 0 to 15 days. Managing the product with shelf life data and expiration dates, along with store consumption data, provides visibility to the effectiveness of inventory tracking. Item level tracking of date and lot management allows the operator to reduce waste by identifying product nearing its expiration date, easily locating it in the store, and consuming or donating it before it reaches the end of its shelf life. Today, product is received into the store using a mobile RFID device. This is a critical tracking event in traceability. Product can be received against an advanced ship notice from the supplier or distributor, or can be received in a blind mode. When product is received against an ASN, the receiver is provided information about the order, and discrepancies are alerted to them to allow them to anticipate potential shortages. Credits are captured at the time of receipt for timely reconciliation with the supplier or distributor. Daily inventory counts, rather than weekly or monthly counts, provide current inventory and detailed information about each full or partial case. With RFID reads of thousands of tags per minute, a typical store completes an inventory in just minutes, a 75 to 90% improvement over manual or barcode inventory processes. RFID also removes any question about the accuracy of precise case level inventory at the store, as the team member no longer needs to scan each item individually using line of sight. In addition to the labor savings, the store now has a digital record of each case, an accurate store inventory, and a detailed list of operational tracking events, such as items nearing expiration or recalls. Images of product and search features, including Geiger counter type technology, provide the store user with an easy-to-use solution. Additional tracking of critical events are recorded when product is transferred from one store to another. The store operator preparing the transfer simply creates a shipping event, recording the exact cases that are to be transferred by scanning the RFID label. This provides the receiving store a file to receive against and maintains a digital record for corporate accountability. At the corporate level, detailed visibility across the chain provides comprehensive information and allows management to focus on incidents and exceptions. Corporate dashboards summarize information from the stores and provide organizational performance metrics, trends, and supply and demand forecasting to improve planning and financial health. Quality and safety are able to easily identify where specific product is throughout the chain at the supplier, lot, and case level, and can react to potential recall risks swiftly and decisively, ensuring consumer safety, while also minimizing the financial impact of mass recalls. Supplier scorecards and quality complaints can be managed at the granular level to determine where in the supply chain improvements can be made to protect the investment of each stakeholder. Restaurant support personnel have an integrated view into the restaurants to address inventory issues. Sustainability commitments can be met through management of provenance of product from a diverse supply chain and reduction of waste through responsible inventory management. Inviting the supplier community to participate in an RFID initiative in the food supply chain was met with the similar responses that early apparel retailers experienced. In the food supply chain, the need for traceability of critical tracking events through digital records has prompted many suppliers to look at new technologies for their own operations. RFID will allow suppliers to save labor on inventory management and stock rotations. It will allow them to reduce human error in shipments to the restaurants and improve expiration date visibility and accountability of their product. Traceability will also contribute to the reduction of waste of the world's food supply, which today is estimated to be about 33% of all food produced. At Mojix, we're pleased to have been awarded the FDA challenge for data democratization and traceability through our platform item. It's the first item-level solution for the food industry using industry standards to link together traceability events, CTEs, for each individual item and lot to achieve end-to-end traceability. I think we'd like to open it up to any questions.
Yep. Thank you, Patty. Appreciate that. I'll start off with, what was the reaction from the supplier community?
As I mentioned, the supplier community was not as exposed to RFID as the retail community, the apparel retail community has been, but the reality is that there is more and more discussion around the use of RFID today. And so there was an openness and a willingness to look at and understand the technology and to adopt the technology.
Great. And did the store personnel adapt to RFID scanning?
Absolutely. Just like anything, change management is critical. Explaining why you're doing something and how to do it is very important. We went through a process of training at the stores and working with them to understand their processes so that we could explain why they were using this new tool rather than doing things their traditional ways. In the end, when they started to understand the value of what they were doing, they felt more appreciated because their time was respected and their contributions to the health of the store were also valued.
And can you explain the necessity of a G10 or kind of what that is?
Sure. The G10 is an industry standard code established by the GS1 for logistics tracking.
Okay. And then can you explain again what Mojix was awarded and how you got into that program? I think that was on your last slide.
Sure. Mojix was awarded one of the FDA challenges for democratization of data. What that means to all of us is really the FDA challenged organizations to define and bring to the table solutions that would be affordable and easy to use, as well as provide detailed information throughout the supply chain that was available to the stakeholders to be able to enforce some of these new regulations around FSMA 204. So we applied with our application last year, and we were one of 12 companies that were awarded that award earlier this year.
Great. And another question we have is, when is the FSMA rule going into effect, and what does that mean for the restaurant industry? And before you answer, just want to say AIM North America does have a FSMA webinar series going on right now where we answer a lot of questions on that as well. But Patty, you can take it away here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I encourage you all to listen to some of those webinars. The FSMA is expected, FSMA Rule 204, specifically, which is what we're talking about, is expected to be enacted in the November timeframe. And then there's a 2-year grace period for companies to adopt. If you talk to, whether it's folks from the FDA or you talk to suppliers or even the restaurants or the food supply chain, you will, I think, understand why it's important to get started early in learning and planning your strategy around addressing those requirements, because it will take time, it will take thought, it will take coordination of effort, it will take collaboration between suppliers. and the supply chain to be able to effectively create those records.
Great. And this was a large restaurant mandate, correct? Not just a grocery store one.
This was a restaurant This was a restaurant project. That's correct, not a grocery. But the grocery industry, also will have some, some opportunities. The rule applies to, as I mentioned, many categories, including prepared salads and things like that.
Okay, great. Well, Patty, thank you for your time and insights today. Greatly appreciate it. Don't know if you have your contact information you want to share here.
There you go.
Great. So yeah, if there's additional questions, please reach out to Patty. So thanks again for your time today.
Thank you.